I'm here representing Hindus of Greater Houston and young Hindus of Greater Houston. On April 22nd, 2025, in the Vaisiran Meadows near Pahalgam, militants and army fatigues opened fire on a gathering of Hindu tourists, families, students, and pilgrims seeking rest in Kashmir's mountains. Survivors describe how the attackers separated victims by faith, forcing them to recite the kalma or expose their bodies to check for circumcision. By those identified as Hindu were executed at close range, some kneeling and some fleeing. Before leaving, one gunman told a surviving woman, "Go tell Modi," making their purpose clear, to terrorize Hindus. 26 lives were taken. Students, engineers, servicemen, artisans, ordinary people drawn to the valley's beauty, murdered for their faith. They were not soldiers. They carried no weapons. Their only crime in the eyes of the killers was being Hindu. The militants who carried out the Pahalgam massacre were members of the Resistance Front, a terrorist group active since 2019, which we all know is a rebranding of the Lashkar-e-Taiba Pakistan-based group behind the 2008 Mumbai attacks. The Indian intelligence has identified Saifullah Qasuri and Asif Fauji as the operational leaders. Although they present themselves as local, we know that they are trained, funded, and coordinated across the border, across the line of control. The men who murdered the civilians at Pahalgam were not acting spontaneously. They were soldiers of an ancient, bitter ideology, Islamist, jihadi extremism that glorifies conquest and dehumanization. This radical minority interprets Hindu lives as expendable, Kashmir as a battlefield, and bloodshed as sacred. Any actual Muslim will tell you this is not Islam. This is a political cult draped in religious language as heretical to its own roots as it is deadly to others. These people, not just the terrorists, but those who support them, those who house them, those who fund them, they are radicals and they must be exterminated. If this is not new, we've seen in Wandhama in 1998, Nadimarg 2003, Amarnath 2017, Riyasi just 2024. Hindus have been hunted, faith-checked and executed. Pahalgam is part of this long, bloody continuum, a paradise turned graveyard by hatred. We mourn the dead. We rage against the hatred that killed them, and we stand not in fear, not in apology, but in clarity. The massacre at Pahalgam is not only a tragedy, it is a test. It asks us whether we will remember men like Geetan Adhikari, Vinay Narwal, and Tage Halyong merely as names or honor their lives worth fighting for. It reminds us to live openly as Hindus is still, in many parts of the world, a crime punishable by death. Hatred, if left unnamed, metastasizes. Appeasement is not peace. Silence is not safety. We mourn it not as victims, but as a civilization that continues to endure. In their memory, we must vow, never nameless, never silent, never surrendered. We mourn, but mourning is not enough. The dead do not ask for our tears alone. They ask for our strength. Not strength born of anger, but of clarity. Dharma demands clear action when grief clouds the mind. We must defend our lives, our communities, our traditions without apology, but without falling into collective hatred. The discipline of dharma is to fight without becoming what we resist. Our first duty is to fortify. We must build strength where it was broken and reinforce where it still stands. This means education. Teaching not just the outer symbols of our faith, but the inner logic of civilization and the stories of our martyrs. It means economy, building businesses, institutions, and industries that sustain us. It means culture, upholding temples, arts, languages, and thought systems that root us deeper than slogans ever could. And at the same time, we must speak, not with bitterness, but with clarity. The world must know that Hindus were killed in Pahalgam for being Hindus, by hatred that was cultivated, preached, and acted upon. We do not shout, we state. We do not beg, we testify. We must be vigilant, awake, disciplined, self-aware. We must not fall into hatred or collective and totalizing blame. Dharma demands discernment. After the Mahabharata war, Krishna counseled Yudhishthira to honor the widows and children of the defeated Kaurava warriors, teaching that righteousness does not punish the innocent for the crimes of the guilty. Above all, we must guard how we act. Dharma is not merely survival, It is righteous survival. We remember Pahalgam not only to mourn, but to commit, to live larger, steadier, truer, and more pridefully. We are not just survivors, we are the living, breathing refusal of their hatred. We are Dharma walking upright. We are the future that they could not kill.